A new local business idea is the result of an unfortunate sign of the times. A former employee with the Department of Homeland Security is teaming up with a business partner who is still with Homeland Security to try to launch a security company to train people in active shooter situations and other security matters. The issue hit home in Cincinnati in September when 4 people, including the shooter, were shot and killed in the lobby of Fifth Third Bank's downtown headquarters. Steve Sabatello is stepping down as Senior Vice President at Westchester-based moving and storage company, and he plans to launch the business. Sabatello has a training course called React Smarter that he will teach. React is an acronym for people to use if they encounter a shooter. Recognize, evaluate, act, communicate, treat. Steve Sabatello joins Business Watch producer Kelly Leon in the studio with more on React Smarter. Steve and Kelly.
Thanks, Peg. Steve, thanks for being here this morning.
Thanks for having me.
What an interesting concept. Let's start out with your background. How did you get into this work?
I started in 1982. I was working with the with the United States Capitol Police. There I was a patrolman, and I had an opportunity to be on the SWAT team, and then I was a detective. And in 1989, I went to what they call the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center. That's where we train all the federal law enforcement agents in the country. I was in a division what they call physical techniques. We trained the arrest techniques, defensive tactics, impact weapons, CPR, trauma, first aid. And that's where I met my partner, Kieran Moriarty. He was also an instructor. And in 1998, I left the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center, which is part of the Department of Homeland Security, and came to Cincinnati. I've been here 20 years working with my brother in senior management. So Kieran and I kept in touch, and we would talk often, and the active shooter topic would come up. And like everybody, we were both outraged at how common this is in our country. Matter of fact, mass shootings are occurring almost one a day. I think in November they said we had 311 mass shootings in 317 days.
So how does this work as a business model?
Well, what we're going to do is we're going to go into companies and teach them and their employees on how to react and how to respond to an active shooter situation. In an actual situation, the options are run, hide, or fight. Okay, and it's not in a sequence. It's just going to depend on what the situation is. If the shooter's right in front of you, you're going to have to fight. I mean, as a matter of fact, there's a school in Pennsylvania or in Michigan, they passed out 2,000 hockey pucks. So that if their students were in a situation where they're in a classroom, they have nowhere to go, they would throw the hockey puck to distract the shooter. Obviously, if you've got an opportunity to get out and run, that's the very first thing you would do. But it's not sequential. So again, it's run, hide, fight. That was started by the city of Houston in conjunction with the Department of Homeland Security.
But you've developed React.
Right. So our acronym really is REACT. R stands for recognize. So we want people, and again, in today's society, it's kind of a 24/7. You want to be aware of your surroundings. So if we see somebody walk in a building, or you see somebody on the subway, and it's 90 degrees, and a gentleman has a trench coat on and a hood, and his hands in his pocket, you got to look and say, okay, that's really not normal, is it? And then the next step is to evaluate and have in your mind, which would be my next step? What should I do? Okay, act again is the run, hide, fight. But again, it's not even that. It's not insequential. You may go from recognize something to communicate and call 911 right away.
So let's get through the other two. C is
communicate.
Communicate. And then T is to treat.
Treat.
So to reach you, what's the best way to reach you? We're going to put some information up on the screen. You're on Twitter. We've got your Twitter account. We've got
You can call my direct cell phone number is 513-295-6973. Or my email address is steve@threatmanagement360.com.
All right, and React Smarter on Twitter. And Steve, you are obviously not from Cincinnati by that accent.
No,
You're
from Boston.
All right. Well, thanks so much for being here. Good luck with the business. Keep us posted.
Thank you.